is your character. You can't take your job. You can't take your earthly accomplishments, your certificates, your degrees, your awards. You can't take your money, even though I heard Paul Mooney said we tried to do that. The Kemetu took all their money and put it, they put all their earthly possessions inside of their tomb, so they tried to take it with you, but nothing goes before the scale of my eye but your character. If people came here during our summer, was it summer solstice we gave out the unks? Or was it spring? The spring. I had Ankness and Mutrida receive our Ankh from the shrine of Jehuti Harud Nebhu. Because of good character, good work, constant work. People who don't take a break, they added 24/7. I said to myself, we're taking a vacation. Our enemy got his foot up our behind 24/7. In fact, he has shifts of putting foot up our butt. And we're taking breaks. The enemy doesn't take a break. He has a 24-time think tank, thinking of ways to make sure he can keep his foot on us and keep us in an enslaved process. And so, what good character means that I work 24/7 and I work selfishly. And so, Brother Haru Dijed, would you stand? And Brother Basui, would y'all come forward? So the Ankh ceremony is simply about people who have tirelessly worked without a reward. In fact, sometimes when you try to reward them, they're insulted. I did that because it was the correct thing to do. I didn't do it to get a degree. I didn't do it to get a promotion. I didn't do it to get money or wealth or position in the shrine. I did it because I was supposed to do it, because I'm committed to the struggle. And so, Basui, would you hold that one? And Haru Dijed. These two brothers have tirelessly worked for Jehuti Haru Nebhu, but also for the community and uplifting the consciousness of people and working diligently, teaching, expanding, and still growing themselves. They're not even interested in the 36th chamber. They're just interested in the work. What do I do next? How can we make this better? That's what good character is about. Just imagine if all of our churches was doing this in the community. We would control all the grocery stores. We would control all the housing. We would control the employment of all of our people. So this is what we're building to. So people who are new to Jehuti Haru Nebhu or the Kemetic legacy, this is what we're about. We're about building community. Later you will hear me talk about some of the things that we're doing in Ghana. We're building a whole village in Ghana, where we're building schools, healing centers, and y'all know we need healing, no matter where we are on the planet. Okay, so we need a dynamic healing. I hear y'all laughing over there. Okay, we encounter 98% of crazy people every day, and I'm constantly telling them, people have the right to be crazy, and we can only heal them if they want to be healed. And so Jehuti Haru Nebhu, we do spiritual readings, we do all of these type of things, teachings, so that we can help first heal ourselves. We're all in the process of being healed. Nobody here has arrived. I'm the high priest. I have not arrived. I'm still constantly growing. In fact, if you talk to somebody who's really deep, they will let you know how little we do know. The more you know, the more you realize how little you know. This universe is so vast, and there's so much just to learn here on this planet. It will take many lifetimes. In fact, a high priest told me one time the reason why our lives are shortened to only 100 years, 150 years, is so that we don't become like the nature. Because imagine if you learned this for 1,000 years, what you would be like if you were standing here and you were 10,000 years old. The type of knowledge that you would have. wisdom. And so some of the other Necharu got jealous because we were getting so deep. They said, we got to shorten this. We got to make them come back several trips. Okay, but now, again, it's about character. I want to go back to this. It's about character. No fights in the shrine, no talking about nobody, just build. How can I make this shrine better? How can I make the community better? How can I make the village better? That's what each one has done. And so I'm going to give them just a minute or two just to to reflect on their work with us and the work in the community. Haru Dejed is my senior, and he is our elder member, so he'll go first.
Well, first of all, I'm honored to join Ankness and Mukrita. I accept this.
You are not joining us. You have a big house and we have a small one.
I didn't notice that until you brought it up. But I am honored. I am in good company when I joined the two of you, as well as my fellow brother Basui. I accept this Ankh with great appreciation, and I accept it with all of the words that were said during and before the presentation of this Ankh. I feel the weight of this Ankh in more ways than one, and I will carry it with due diligence. Thank you.
And I definitely want to veggie back off of what Brother Majed said. I'm extremely honored to be in the company of my three elder senior initiates, and very appreciative. And I realize that the Ankh is not a symbol of, well, this Ankh that we're receiving is not about a symbol of an accomplishment or some good or great work that we may have done. But it's a symbol, or I see it as a symbol of the more work that is yet to have been done, that is still out there to be achieved and accomplished. And so it's a reminder of the standards and the responsibilities that, even though I am kind of living up to, I must say I am living up to it, but I'll get to that in a minute. But it's also a reminder of the way we need to revisit and retweak our approaches towards living up to those responsibilities and those standards. And the reason why I say that I am living up to it is because whether you're a carrier of this Ankh or not, and just kind of to emulate Murita a little bit, she'll always say, Vasui, whether you carry the Ankh, it doesn't make you spiritual. That's my imitation of Murita. But yeah, whether you're a carrier of it or not, by default, just because you're in the legacy, we're in a Kemetic shrine learning under Seva with the type of discipline that we're under, we're kind of already expected to live up to certain responsibilities and certain standards. So that came even before any receiving of the Ankh. And of course, we know our most important responsibility, not even as a member of the shrine, but just because you realize that you're a divine spiritual being having a divine human experience, and you recognize the fact that there are certain laws that should be adhered to that are designed to help you walk in that divinity. So one of the main responsibilities that Sabo always tells us about is that the responsibility to be the captain of your own ship and the master of your own destiny. And I see that as pretty much, we're in a position now we should never be blindly subscribing to what somebody else says about our historic past, about the achievements of our ancestors, because we're in a position now where we're under a discipline. When we're learning and we're studying the Medunecha, we're aspired to teach the Medunecha, right? The classical African language in its original tongue. We are in a Kemetic shrine, under the discipline of Mfundishi, we subscribe to symptomatic thought over symbolic thought as the primary approach to govern the primary philosophy to govern our approach towards studying our history. So with all of that, that should kind of tell us that we don't need to be subscribing to somebody else's program. Like, we have the discipline right here. We go to the museum trips, we see this. We know the names to the faces. We know how to categorize everybody in their proper spatial perspective. So, that's one of the main responsibilities that I kind of get out of now being a carrier of the Ankh, that I know that I have to revisit and retweak. I have a lot more that I want to say, but I'm gonna stop short. And dua Necha, and I want to say dua to Mfundishi and dua to everybody. In attendance.
Somebody, can we get a photo